Hmm. So regarding the listeners and reports, right? So till now, what we learned is just simple learn some aggregate reports, summary reports, simple graphs, right? So with that, we can't. I mean, with that, most of the clients may understand. Some of the people who may not be understand it, right? Because it's not their field, right? Then business analyst or marketing sales will come to your reports and says that he couldn't understand anything. So we have to submit a graph so that most of the people can understand graphs visually, right? If you say this is the user, this is the type, okay, this will happen like that, right? So for that, we have to we have to add a few more plugins of it in our JMeter. So let's go to options, plugin manager. Let's search for the graphs here. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, right? Uh, KPI versus KPA or some already all distributor, okay, and composite line graph. And if it's in the surface search in the graphs here, see this very basic graphs, 5 graphs, these are the important, okay. But anyway, I'm adding this now. So simply click on apply changes and restart JMeter. Right. So now let's go to add. So where can I find results and graphs component? Which component? Out of this all which component I can find the results, reports, or graphs? Where you can find view registry? View registry. You will be adding from which component?
Listeners.
Listener, right? So same way, na? Listeners for reports and results. So you'll see all the graphs here. Okay, so we have active threads, bytes, hits per second, response code. So we'll be checking the important graphs, right? So for that, first put a load now. To let's add threads, thread group. Okay, add a dummies request. Okay, that's 1, 2, okay, 3. So I'll be adding a common element, config element, HTTP request defaults. Okay, add listener to know it basically is working or not. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's working. Right. Now let's add graph. Add listener. So the first most important graph is hits per second. Okay, if you understand 3, 4 graphs, you'll be able to understand others also, right? So let's go to add hits per second. So if you see JP at the rate of GC in front of a component means it is a plugin, right? If you see without, if you don't see anything in a prefixes, right? It means a standard version of JMeter. Let's go to hits per second. If you see, right, it's waiting for samples. So once you run our script, still running, you can see done. So now what you understand? So let's understand first the graph, what it has. It has x-axis, it has a elapsed time, means time, how long your script is taking. And right side, number of hits, means how many hits per second trying to hit. Okay. So now if you see, let's go to our aggregate report to get a better number. Listener aggregate report. Okay. So how many requests we have here? We have 3 requests, right? And I have given 1 user. It means totally at any point of time, let's say total how many requests will go to your server? Three requests, right? We have three APIs, three requests, I have one user. So three requests only. So if you come to our graph here, that's why it's showing about two, but it's like second, right? It's not hitting three at same time. So that's why it got two, then it got like this. If you just observe. Mouse over it. Mouse over it, you get to know, right? So now to understand much better, let's run for this 10 users. Okay, we'll see more data. So what is the total time? 10, right? We have 3 requests. So we are expecting around 30 requests per second. Right? 30 requests we are expecting totally. But here, scripty, what is taken, it started. It started slowly, try to hit all the 14, then slowly gradually decreased here. So still one more user is there. That's why it's still running. Let's wait. One user got struck. So let's them. Now what happening, right? So if you see this point, all the requests are started. So slowly till this time. What is the time here? Till this less than 2 seconds, right? It is good at 14 requests, 15 requests. The dots are there, right? Dots are nothing but request. So then again at this point of time, around 2.5 minute time, it took around this much of things. And here from 0.5 second, right? It has executing around one request. Okay. And last it got completed this one at this one. 34 seconds. So you can see, right? This one request time has taken this much of time. So you see the 15 seconds has 15 requests at the second 15 requests. At the second 11 requests. At the second 1 request. So like that you can understand how many hits per second your graph is loading. It's same as like number of users also. Now let's add one more graph. Add listener. Let's add active threads over time. What is active threads means? What is active threads? Users, right? How many users, current users, it's going over time. Okay, let's run and see. Now, how your users has behaved throughout our time. It means here it has 7 users. Right? Slowly then 7 to it went to 9 to 10, right? Once they done 10 users, slowly they ramp down. And they finally close it this one. If you see the graphs, you should be able to understand what is happening on that pattern. Okay. Now let's say if I give more ramp up. What is the ramp up? What is the ramp up? Ramp up is nothing but user to user distance. So here ramp up by number of users 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds, one user will go. Correct. Now if you see here the graph, see what is happening. So every 2 seconds, right? One user will come. That's why if you see at any given point of time, only 2 or 3 users will be there. Because once one user start him, even though you want to start, is getting down. Again, user starting down, user getting down. User starting, user getting down. Like that, if user got struck sometime here, you will see more users. Let's understand again. Let's see this graph. On that we saw, right? What is the active number of users at the time? How many users are running? So if I run it now, so one user is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, right? So the same graph is 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. If I give a less ramp up, then the graph will be high. So in a given second, how many users are on the server? That's why that group. Suppose if I give here 0, right? It means I want to hit all 10 users at the same time. Now let's understand again. Means all 10 users start at same time. See, that's why. See now, but after that, what happens? Slowly one of the users got reduced. Now till now, everyone is reduced. I think one user got left. That's why this time. See, started at 10, all users 10 started. Then slowly, then here till this time only 5 users are there, 5 users are running. From this time, one user got left. Then if you see the hits per second, same thing. Started, whatever the number of users, slowly is getting down. Now, if I want to customize this, right, these graphs I can customize. I see rows and selections. Okay, here is only third group, right? For that, okay. Hits per second. If you go to rows, you can see uncheck all. Uncheck all. If you go to settings, yeah, I can change the values to make it look bigger or smaller. Okay, the roles also I can add it if anything anyone want or not. So you can customize it as per our thing. Everyone clear? These two graphs, they are very, very basic graphs. Now we'll go to next level of graphs. Just let me know if you're not able to understand the graph now. It's per second and threads. Everyone. Shall we move to next graph?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah. Now let's add graph. Okay, yeah, response times over time. Means how your response time of a app is behaving over the time. Let's see. What happens? So if you see, we have three APIs, right? HTTP1, next request 3. Now see, each color. Green is for request 3, request 2 for pink, request for red. Means HTTP request 1, at the initially the response time was slow, but slowly the response time got increased to around 7 seconds. But response to request 1, request 3 is like, okay, that same value throughout the entire test. That's why if we see here, go to aggregate report, see request 1 is highest value, right? 1.3 second, whereas 4.4 and 0.4. That's why the response times is higher here for this request 1. And if you see, for some of the users, they have more than that one. Okay, let's go to what is maximum here. If you see maximum aggregate report, it's 7.6. So that's why one of the users 7.6. Now maximum means. That's why that you can see 7.6 here around this value. Okay. Now if you don't want to do everything, you can uncheck it. Suppose I want to do only red one, right? Actually, request now uncheck it. See, you got one hashed request. Okay, means how your response are behaving. So what I told you, your response times, whenever you're increasing the load or decreasing the load, your response should be constant or should decrease, not like increasing. It means some of this user has stuck or some of the user something like that's why the response time is increasing. So this is not expected. Okay, if I do normal ramp up, right, of 10 here to 20 here, that's what I was seeing earlier case. Means you're hitting one user at one time. Correct. If I run this code now, you might be slaying slowly. So what happens? This is first user, second user, third user, fourth user, fifth user, sixth user, seventh user, eighth, 9. We'll see one more user, 10. That's it. We'll see one user getting stuck every time. That's why. See, one of the requests got stuck. It took around 8.6 seconds. That's why. See, all these are lying here. So to understand much better, right? Let's remove the green one as of now, so that we can understand these graphs. So what is first user? See dots, right? Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10. Means first user when hitting it has a 0.5 second. Second user has 0.6. Third user, fourth user, fifth user, like this. But if you observe our request 3, see, till all the users is fine, but suddenly it got jumped because it got stuck, right? So he has taken this much of time to compute the response. Understood, right? So if I show you the graph, you can able to tell me, right, what is and what is what. Okay. So I'm just stopping the screen share. Just give 1 second. Okay. I will be running with different numbers. You have to guess it, that numbers to me. Okay. So I'm just running the test. So it's still running. Okay. So okay. I'm sharing the screen now. Okay. Now tell me. So I have response time or graph, active threads or graph, hits per second graph. So now let's go to hits per second. So now what you understand from this one? Hmm? Yes, anything from this graph. Just guess how many users could have given. I need answers. How many users? Just guess it from the graph. Or if you want to show me the add to that to our group, I'll show you that one. Add to that to our group. Or response time, I'll show you response times. Just now tell me from any of the graph, guess what could be the number of users. So let's say thread group here, right? Let's say thread group. What is thread group like users? So now can you tell me how many users could have given? Sorry?
6 users.
60. Okay. Others? Shweta?
Yeah, Ravi, it is. Yeah, it's close. 50.
Nirila? JSV? So one said 50, one
Around
said 60.
60 to 70.
Okay. Yeah. So how you guys saying around 60 to 70 JSV?
The number of hits in the graph. Uh, if you see here, the
In each per
time
second or active threads?
based on the active threads and see
Mm-hmm.
active threads and
Hmm.
yeah, active threads only.
Okay. So it's around 50. Okay. I given 50 and 50 ramp up. So if you observe, you see the dots, right? So when you see this much of dots means this number of users. Okay. As given between 1 second ramp up, we are not able to see higher load at any given point of time. Correct. So it means one user at this time, when I mean he came at this time, he came like this one. But one user got struck, that's why it's taken this much of time. Okay. Now if you count hits per second, so as given same as like very medium ramp up. So it won't take much. Every time it will take 1 or 3 requests only. Right? If you go to response over time, see one user got struck at this much of time. So total script has taken around 1 minute 45 seconds completion, right? And this is the time here, 1 minute 45 seconds time. And these are like response time behaviors. Okay. The main thing, whenever you see more dots, it's simply another more number of users. Whenever you see a flat line without any dot means that much 1 or 2 users is taking this much of time to complete our load test. Okay. Clear, right? Let's go to next graph. Add. There's no, let's see, response time versus threads. What is response time versus threads? Yeah, based on your users. Okay, let me run small load to understand. Response time. After response time, how your requests are behaving. What is threads? How many users are it giving? If you say here, this x-axis is the number of threads and y-axis is response users, response time. Okay, still running. Let's complete it. We'll go through that. Okay, it's done. See here, let's add only one by one request first, right? Okay, I'll select request one, average, okay, two things. Yeah, if you see here, for this one user, he has got an average of 1.53 second. Our average is nothing but combination of all the request ones, right? All the users. But if you see how the user is behaved in the response time is, as the users are increasing, the response time got increased. Ideally, what I told you, response time should be a constant or decrease, but not like this. Okay, let's select other request. So we're selecting average and we select request. So now this is, I mean, started at this time, but as gradually it was increasing, the response time got decreased and got see average like this. I told you, right, our graph should be plain or should be decreased, not like increasing. Now let's see the third request. Average and uncheck this one. Same as, right? Each graph started from like this, but again, one of these are like this. So average is like this 0.469. Okay, so we'll be comparing the same graph for different differences. Now I run for how many users? 10, 10, right? Now I'll run 20, 20 and I'll check the graph. How it's behaving. Again, 40, 40, 40 or 100, 100, 1,000, 1,000, 5,000, 5,000. So how my users are behaving along with response time. Okay, let's go to next graph. Transaction per second. It's kind of like same hits per second only. But whenever a more APS, more group, right, you will be in transaction per second. Both are same in a granular level. So if I go to hits per second, you will see same graph. But here it combinations of everything, but here we'll get each request, how it's behaving. Right, see, if you see it's between around 1 and 2, right? Now if you see or go to hits per second, you see, if we do average of this, you will get this number. Same, but you will get here individual transactions. So for request one, red color, right, how it behaves. And this time it is able to trigger two requests per second, or it's taken one request per second, one request per second. However, throughout our test is behaving with a transaction per second. Clear graphs, right? These are the 5 important graphs you have to learn. Others are same. You can just learn, I mean, just add it and run the script and just understood that. But base thing is your x-axis, y-axis, how your response time users are behaving. If there are errors, how your errors percent is increasing.
Ravi, can
Yeah.
you just repeat this one? Transactions per
Transaction per second. Okay. So let's go to one by one. Okay, means this request one for given throughout our time, right? How many hits per second it's getting hit? So if here we have how many users? 10, right? So first let's 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more dot is missing somewhere. Like it could be like this. So it means for every one user, right? He got one request per second at the time. At the time of 2 seconds of time, this request is hitting 2 requests per second. At third request, it's hitting 1 request per second. So throughout the time, every second it is sending only one request. That's still request 2. So request 1. right? How many seconds this HTTP request one is being sent to server? Okay, in how much, I mean, the probability or how much speed is JMeter sending this one? If you see here, every, let's say from this graph to this graph, so is every second it's sending one request, one request, one request, one request. And only this second it able to send two requests. Rather than that, second one. Okay, now let's select HTTP request 2. So now see, at this time is every this second sending one request per second. But here it got stuck or somewhere. It will send 2 requests per second at this time. Again, normally it come to one request. Simple, nothing but for every second, how many requests you been sent to the server. Okay, let's do request 3. Same as like this. But if you go to hits per second, it's a combination of everything. Right? The averages of all our 3 will come here. So here, this much of is request, this much of request, this much of request, like this single one. Whereas transactions per second is, you get an individual request. So is it clear? So in a given second, how many requests you're sending to your server?
Okay, Ram.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the graphs which we'll be using in our test or to share the graphs. Okay. And you can share these graphs also. I think right click, see, copy image to clipboard or save image as export to CSV. So either way, you can share with any of your stakeholders or the client or manager. Either they want to do image or you want to get data or you want to save images, whatever the configuration is possible. Okay. Yeah. So that's all about the graphs. Okay. Let's go to next topic. So why you are using BlazeMeter? What is your intention? Main intention of BlazeMeter? Anyone? What is your first choice of BlazeMeter? Why you have to go BlazeMeter? Because what BlazeMeter takes your input only, na JMX file. It's not giving you extra scripting, right? They're giving your JMX only. But why we are still preferring to go BlazeMeter? Come on, guys.
To check the performance on the server we'll be using. Where
No,
exactly the issue is there, we can know from the BlazeMeter.
not exactly, but few things. Main thing is the support, right? Infrastructure. Suppose I want to run 1 lakh in JMeter. Can I do it my locally? No, right? Because of my my system is 4 GB RAM. Can I run 1 lakh load test with JMeter? No, right? Because my RAM won't be supporting that. We discussed, right? The RAM part.
Yes, Ram.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Yeah. So that's why we're going BlazeMeter, because BlazeMeter will take care of that infra. You 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 6,000, they will be creating machines and they will run on behalf of us. That's the first use of BlazeMeter. BlazeMeter, JMeter in the cloud. But assume that your company or a project is not able to or not supporting the commercial tools, right? Because BlazeMeter is commercial, right? You have to purchase license, even the very low cost, but people are not willing to buy it. So in that case, what you have to do? You have to do a load test. You can't say, right? You have to do either of the way. You don't have any choice. Then in that case, we'll be using a JMeter master and slaver configuration. Okay, JMeter master and slave configuration. Okay, it's called like a grid concept. It means I have one master system. Okay, and I have slaves. 1, 2, 3. Slave 1, slave 2, slave 3. So what I will do, I have, if I want to do suppose 1 lakh, suppose let's say, let's give 4, slave 4. So I want to do 1 lakh user test, right? So what I will do, I will use master slave configuration and assume that my system is supporting 25,000 users. Without any memory issues, without any freezing, assume that my system is supporting 25,000. So what I will do, then I will take 4 machines like this. Or if I want to run here also 5 machines, right? Total 5 machines, right? So in the 5 machines, I will distribute my load to 20K. 20K here, 20K, 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 20K. So, and JMeter has a capability to club all results and give it to master. Suppose we are 5 members team, right? So if I say monitor less 20,000 ever test, so individually you execute 20, I might execute 20, and all of our team members execute 20, 20, 20. Do you think we collect the reports of single one? No, right? In each of our machine, we have the reports. Our 20,000 test. But I want to know 1 lakh load was the load test. I can't club and merge, right? Because numbers will vary. And assume that if there is something wrong with system, suppose while starting our test, right, you started a test by 5 seconds, 10-second delay. I started some delay like that. And there is no sync also. Because on the server, we want to know how we send 1 lakh users, how it want to be. Okay. But if you want to create a load, we can do manually. That's manual load testing. So only advantage is you can't get the report properly and you can't be in sync. So to avoid all these things, we have a master and slave. So masters are nothing but JMeter will distribute the load test to all of the 5 machines of slaves and correct by the results back. So it will get 1 lakh load test. If you are not going for commercial tool and if you are not going to missions, but teams are missions, right? It's not like only one team member will be there, no? Any project. At least 5, at least 10 will be there, right? Including developers or testers. Or how many members are there? And if you assume that there's a higher configuration missions, then you can do like this way. Okay, concept is clear, right? Why you're doing master and slave means whenever we're going higher load test and our system, one single system is not supporting, we'll be taking our team members or any other machines of our project because companies can have these machines, right? Remote machines or like these physical machines or virtual machines. They can provide those things because internally. So they don't have to spend much time on that. I mean, they don't much cost. So in that case only, if you can go for this. But assume that your company I don't have this infra and you can't do, then there is no other option. You can do for higher load test. Okay, clear, right? So let's do how to achieve this master and slave. Just a second. I already noted down the steps. Yeah. Okay. The first thing is all the machines, right? Suppose I have 5 machines. Okay. All the 5 machines means my master is 1 machine and slave is 4 machines. All the 5 machines should have JMate and Java same version. Suppose what is my Java version here? CMD. Say 11. So all my slave machines expression should be 11 version. Very basic one. Whatever the same version of your master, right? And all your slave machines, all the 4, right? We discussed 4, and including master 5. So all the 5 machines should be same Java 11.0 version. Next, JMeter. So what is JMeter version I'm using in my master? Let's say my mine is master, right? So let's say what is the version here? What is the version?
5.1.
Right, others 5.5 now, JMeter 5.5 version. So in all other slaves, you should download a JMeter. So let's go to individual slave machine, set up Java 11 and download our JMeter 5.5. Okay. Now, next thing is they all should be in same network. Means, so in our office, right, we will be connected to the same Wi-Fi. So it's advisable to do in our one single network configuration. It's more easy to data transfer. I mean, you can do from other area, like suppose you're in home and someone is in office, you can do that way also, but it will take a lot of errors and a lot of firewall issues. It's advisable to be in the same network. Means if everyone is in office, in office, everyone is home, in home. In single network. Okay. Now, third point is no firewall should be installed. Means in our by default, some companies have the more firewalls, right? By default, they won't allow any network outside if you want to connect. In that cases, this configuration smartphone slave won't be working. Okay, if you have more firewalls, otherwise you have to allow the firewall to connect the data. Otherwise, you have to disable the firewall. Otherwise, your data, because you're connecting one system to other system, right? You're sending a data and receiving the data. So when you're enabling the communication between two systems, so there should be no firewall. So generally, what is the firewall? Firewall nothing but to allow or deny the traffic from other machine to our machine. Because it's safe, no? If someone is accessing my machine, they can send some malwares to my machine. Or if someone receiving the data means they can read all my data. So that's where firewalls are there. The main person they won't allow by default. So if in our machines or a configuration, the firewalls are there, you should disable or allow the data. Okay. Now, right, copy the dependencies to all slave machines. Suppose I need this JMX file, right? I have this JMX file only. I have this JMX, which is a graph.jmx. So now I need to copy the JMX file to all slave machines. Okay, and I have any dependency like CSV or any dependencies, just copy all dependencies, or you are doing any jars. Suppose I'm Selenium, right? I have some Selenium jars. So I have to copy these jars there. Understood? Right? So just copy all dependencies, whatever you are using JMeter, same the JMeter conference, same folder, same script, same jars, everything should be in all slave machines. Okay? Now, next thing is correct all the IPs of slave machines. So once you're done with all the information, same version, same network, and all the things, then you should be connecting all the IPs of slave machines. So how will connect the IP? If I want to know this IP of this machine, right? How will get to know? How will you get to know IP? CMD IP config. See what is the IP here? This is my IP 19.168.48. But this is a local IP address. Right? For same as you, right? If you are in same machine now, you'll be seeing all this starting with 192, 168, same machine, same configuration. You are in the same network, and you see. So the people who have connected on laptop, right, in this class, so just open a command prompt and check the IP address and ping me the IP address in the chart. Everyone who are connected on the laptops, open a command prompt, IP config, and share me all your IPs. I mean this IP, local link IP4 address. Everyone connected on laptops or mobile?
Laptops only, but his office laptop.
No, don't. Office one, no, personal laptop. So I thought Nirila, you're connected from mobile or laptop?
Yeah, laptop only, but it's office.
Okay, don't do for the office because it's personal. Office, right? We can't share any
Yeah.
information. Personal. Nirila,
Yeah,
Sweta.
I have connected on tab.
Okay, tab. Okay. Okay, Sweta.
On
But
laptop
one,
only.
Personal laptop, right? Office.
Yes, yes. Personal laptop.
Yeah, share me your IP address
Yeah.
in my chart. Okay. If you're in office, right? Just try to in our office, no, try to same setup in our office configurations. Your teammates, your friends, no, in our team, or just try to implement this one after whatever we did today, right? So that you'll get to know how they're working,
The
how we can
plugins
transfer.
also same, Ravi. Plugins we install, na? The
Yeah, I
plugins
mean,
also same should
if your
install.
script is dependent on the plugins, then you have to use plugins there. Suppose this now I want to run this graph JMX, right?
Actually, I
So
observed this case in the plugins also should same, I think.
that's why even your script needs same plugins, you should be there. Okay. Suppose I'm using some parallel controller. That's some plugin, right? So the plugin should be installed in JMeter. So whatever the JMeter setup, the same JMeter should be there. So that you ping me IP. Hello, Sweta? You're on mute.
Yeah, Ravi, just a second, checking.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Right. So now what I have to do, we have to connect the IPs. How will we get the IPs? your command prompt, ipconfig, right? You'll get to the IP. So let's say I collected all the IPs, right? Like 19.68.29.48, like this, all the IPs. Okay. And one more. So once I have the IPs, all the machines should be same OS. Means I'm using Windows, right? It's made better to be all other systems also Windows OS only. If it's Linux, it's better to be in Linux. Because when transferring data, right? I mean, you can transfer that like over Windows to Linux, Linux to Windows also. But safe side say, without getting any errors, you should be using your Windows. I mean, all the Windows, it should be Windows. So all the Linux should be Linux.
It is-
Better. Sorry?
It's 192.168.31.44.
31.44. Okay. Right. So now, once you're in same OS, right? Now, what you have to do in the slave machines, right? Suppose, let's say now I will be taking Swata machine example. The Swata machine slave machine, so you will be installing JMeter, right? Now go to your bin folder. So generally to open bin, what we do? Sorry, how to open JMeter? Go to here, jmeter.bat, correct? But now for this master and slave configuration, you have to start jmeter-server.bat. You have to open jmeter-server.bat in all slave machines. Swata, if possible, you can run this command in your machine. jmeter-server.bat. Okay, just click on this in all slave machines. So what happens, right? Okay, there is something error with my key store. Oh, okay. So that's why you can ignore it now. Okay, I have some error. Okay, so I have some issue with my thing. But once in our machines, right? If you once you start with JMOD server, but it will see it will display some IP and it will listening. Okay, I'm getting some error. I'll fix this. Okay, so for you guys, when you open jmeter-server.bat in any machine, right? Off machine, you will see something like not this error. You'll say connection is started or something like that. Okay, I'll fix this error. So now, all slave machines should be started here. So now what I have to come to our master machine. Like this is my master, right? So go to your jmeter.properties. In bin, go to jmeter.properties. Let's open the property file. Open with notepad. In the master, in slave, just open your jmeter-server.bat. Okay. In master, here, Control F, search for remote. Okay, remote. Okay, you'll see remote shows comma delimited. By default, you see, right? It has only, by default, you will see commented. Okay, now whatever the IP is selected, right? Now say I have Swata IP now 192.168 dot, what is that number? Hmm. 31.44. So 31.44. These are local IPs. Don't worry, it won't work. Now, let's say I have someone. I give the machine 190.168 dot. So let's say their IP is 4.5. Like someone, I want 5 slave machines, 4 slave machines, right? I will be adding all 4 slave machine IPs here, comma separated in the my master configuration, not slaves. Don't confuse in the my master, because this is where from, right? JMeter will be executing. So in the master configuration. So let's save this. So whenever you do changes in the JMeter.properties file, what you have to do? You have to restart your JMeter to reflect those changes, right? Let's go to restart. Okay. Now Once you restart JMeter, and if you properly configure right in the JMeter properties, let's open the script, graph.jmeter I want to run. Now, if you see in the run, right, then what is to run? We are running this button. But you see here, run, you'll see remote start. So now, if you see remote start, whatever the IPs I added in the property file, we'll get to see here. Suppose I have 4 IPs, right? I can see all my 4 IPs. Okay. So now if I want to do a load test, simply click on remote start all. So when I click on remote start all, it will have IPs, right? It will talk to IPs. In the IPs, we triggered JMeter from server.pat. So then it will receive data. Because what we are making that as a server and we're sending the request through iPad. So simply click on remote start all. See, now I'm getting some error of key error, but one for you, it will say started only. So now how will started? Okay, suppose I given 10, right? So I have 4 machines. So then what will be total load? 40. Suppose if I want to do 1 lakh, I can't give 1 lakh here. Means to give 1 lakh, and if I click on run, it will be 1 lakh into 4 machines. 1 lakh into 5, including master. So it will 5 lakh. No. So you should divide your total number of load by number of machines. So I want to do 1 lakh and I have 5 machines. I will give 20,000. Or if I give 10 here, it will give 10 here. The same 10 will be run on all the machines. So I have 5 machines. So I identify 50,000. 50. It's not like that I give 50, 50, 50, 50 means it's not like that. Whatever the number you give, the same number will be applicable. So now, right, once you will run with 10 users, you will see the results of 50 users. We have this results right, aggregate report everywhere. You will see instead of 10, you will see 50. Because what JMeter do, it executes in our slave machines and will get back results to you. Okay, and in the slave machines, right? When you hit the JMeter server.bat, you will see there test started, test ended, test started, test ended. Because it's sending the test, it's running there, back, and it's giving back result to your master. So whenever we want to do higher number of load tests, and you're not allowed to use any commercial tool, and in that cases, you can use our team machines and using this master and slave configuration. Okay, whenever if you're not able to do right, when you're getting any error, it could be our network issue or our firewall. It's clear, right? So whenever I'm going for a higher load test, you can use this setup. So only same rules. We have to remember those rules only. Connect all IPs and keep here and restart and follow this configuration rules. Yeah, all automation should be the same versions, should be the same network and firewalls, dependencies and IPs and same OS and start JMeter.server command. I will fix this error. I will fix this error, try to fix this error, and I will show you how it will be done. Okay, and if I want to know, right, that's my local IP address 192. If I want to know, so say what is IP? If you search is what is IP? No, what is IP? No, IP address of my system. There is one people. What is my IP address? Okay, you see, right? So it will be like this somewhere, somehow, right? It's not able to show to the right? So like that, we have some IPs, but in whenever we do office, right, everything was system linked and safe. Okay, so like that, you have to do your master and slave configuration. It's clear? Master and slave. Any doubts here? Okay, I'll stop recording.